This episode may contain spoilers, sensitive topics, and us laughing at our own jokes. So don't say we didn't warn you.
Okay,
Once upon a time.
Should we start this?
Yeah. All right. So what do we read? Hit them with the title.
Hey everybody! I already said hey. Hi everybody! It's us. Listen, let me just start by saying, Rocio and I have been in a slump, and by slump we mean we just don't want to read, which is, I don't know if you know anything about this, everybody, but that's
kind of problematic.
Kind of the point of this podcast. So, thus, we are going to separate Glitch Feminism, which is the book we're talking about today, into two parts. Today's part 1. And we're going to release part 2. Let's not say a date, Rocio, because we say a date and then we don't do it. Because this one's already late. We're recording on the day that we should have released it, but that's fine. No one cares.
No comment.
That's fine. But today's book. Wait, are you drinking Snoopy? That was not a good sentence. Cheers! Cheers. Okay. We'll do it again. Yeah, so today's book is Glitch Feminism by Legacy Russell. We kind of haphazardly put these notes together, so let's just start. Rocio, go ahead.
Yeah, so it was previously stated, to piggyback off what was said. It was written by Legacy Russell.
Piggyback.
It has 12 chapters. 143 pages, and remember, this is the first book. Oh, the music stopped. I feel kind of weird.
That's
now.
because I had to say with my mic. I'm just gonna cut out as much as this. I can't talk today. As much of this as I can. Are we already drunk, Rocio?
Yeah. We can just say that we're kind of in a bar situation. There's music in the background, ambiance. Honestly, you can hear my cat.
Just y'all have to accept the music. I'm not even gonna try to take it out. Just this is what we're doing today.
Yeah.
We're home. We're home.
So yeah, this is work from home.
Wait, Rocio.
Yes, Willow.
How are you?
I'm chilling.
We typically.
Why?
Because we typically start off the podcast normal, but we didn't do that today. We kind of just started.
I mean, you just went in there.
Don't finish that.
I'm gonna go let Dora out.
Okay.
She wants to leave. Anyways.
What is this?
Yeah, so this is the first. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm okay. Everything's peachy over here.
Yeah, I mean, you're just falling apart, but that's normal. Anyway, so there's 112 chapters.
Yes.
This is the first book in a while that has the actual chapters.
Right.
Instead of just going randomly back and forth. And each chapter begins.
And we should also say
begins.
This is the first book we've read that does not have a plot. This is the first
an academic book?
Yeah, this is the first non-fiction thing we've read.
Or theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know how to call it. But I was telling Willow that like he said, we're in a reading slump, and what a perfect time to be reading such a theory-based academic book where we need our brains to understand what's going on. So if we don't make sense, just keep that in mind.
I'm going to blame it on the wine. I'm going to say it's Snoop Dogg's fault. Actually, I like Snoop Dogg. No, you know what?
Are you drinking Snoop Dogg?
Huh?
You're also drinking Snoopy?
Hell yeah, dude.
So this podcast, again, is sponsored by the wine that'll make you cry.
19 Crimes. Is that what it's called? 21 Crimes.
Of happiness.
What is it called? What's the wine called?
19 Crimes. I don't know where you got 21.
Me either. I think I was going through the Adele albums. Anyway. All
right. So Glitch Feminism.
Okay. What did you say?
I said.
This is gonna be a long episode.
You're written. You start with you're written. I went over the other stuff. Or do you want me to say that too?
Wait. Where did you stop at?
Each chapter begins with a piece of art. You also had a little accent thing. You didn't catch it. I was like, each chapter begins with a piece of art. And what's the QI? Did I write that?
No, you wrote that.
I wrote that. So each Oh, a quote. I was gonna write quote. It, like, begins with a piece of art or a quote, so it's pretty interesting. I think one of my favorite ones is the Nope, a manifesto.
Yeah,
and that's more of like a poem or a manifesto, I guess.
That's the first one, right? First chapter.
Yep.
Yeah. So glitch feminism was not originally. It started out as kind of an essay, right? Like it was called a manifesto, but it was published originally in 2013. I pulled up an article.
Yeah.
From ArtNet. And the title is, I say tear it all down, and quote, curator Legacy Russell on how glitch feminism can be a tool to radically reimagine the world. And they said, Russell's notion of glitch feminism was fittingly launched on the web. She first developed the idea back in 2012 as an essay for the online theory journal Society Pages. And I think the essay was called Digital Dualism and the Glitch wow, I fucked that up, didn't I? Digital Dualism and the Glitch Feminism Manifesto. And I think once it started to kind of find its way and people started to find out what it was and it became a little bit more popular, she then wrote this book, which was published, was it last year or 2019?
2020.
I guess we could look in it would say it in the book, wouldn't it? I guess we could just.
I still says it in the notes.
Oh, the notes I'm not looking at. This is why I can't have too many tabs open. Rocio, did you split your screen or something?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so smart. Rocio, you have a master's. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say?
What?
Not all of us are blessed with a brain.
We can't all have it all.
You're the 90%. It's fine.
Yep. There's
JK,
the note.
He's kind of smart. It's fine.
I'm smart. I got a degree. Barely.
Yeah, barely. Same. Anyways.
Here's a summary.
Where are we? Oh, sorry.
Here's a summary. Quote, the glitch is often dismissed as an error, a faulty overlaying, but as Legacy Russell that's messed that up, didn't I? Okay. Here's a summary of the book.
Go.
Here's a summary of the book. One more time.
Go.
Here's a summary of the book. This is our third try. The glitch is often dismissed as an error, a faulty overlaying, but as Legacy Russell shows, liberation can be found within the fissures between gender, technology, and the body that it creates. The glitch offers the opportunity for us to perform and transform ourselves in an infinite variety of identities. In Glitch Feminism, Russell makes a series of radical demands through memoir, art, and critical theory, and the work of contemporary artists who have traveled through the glitch in their work. Timely and provocative, Glitch Feminism shows how the error can be a revolution. You want to read the next one?
Oh, sure. Popcorn. The additional blurb. Quote, the divide between the digital and the real world no longer exists. We are connected all the time. How do we find out who we are within this digital era? Where do we create the space to explore our identity? How can we come together and create solidarity? Oh, I get that. Like, how do we... Maybe that's not what you meant. How can we... Where do we create space... Wait, where is it? Yeah, where do we create space to explore our identity?
Is this your first time reading this?
No, is it because... No, I just thought about something. Is it because we're... Just, maybe.
Because this is your note. You put that in there.
Really? Okay. Obviously. Because, no, it makes sense. Because, like, we are connected all the time. So how do we find out who we are within the digital era? Where do we create the space to explore our identity? Because we're never really alone. If you're always on your phone, you're never really alone. You're at work, physically or away from keyboard or on the keyboard, you're always with someone. So when do you actually spend that time by yourself to identify who you are, without anybody else's opinion? Wow.
And like how much of who you are when you're alone is what you put on the internet. Like she talks a lot about in chapter 1 about this like virtual world, and it actually made me think a lot about Sims and other games like back in that era, like Club Penguin, WeWorld.
I love
all those things where you like make an avatar, right? And the first thing is the physical appearance, and then you have the stuff that you say and the stuff that you do, and it's actually pretty interesting to for those of us that were kiddos back in the day when that stuff was popping, like who were you? Who how much of you as the actual person, as the human, was in that avatar? And then how much of your identity did you, I guess, discover by being in that digital world? That's legacy. You smart,
right?
Well, that makes one of us.
So cool.
So this episode, y'all, is going to be a little bit different than how the other ones have been structured, because for those of you that have listened before, we typically go through you note that we typically go through the context and the author and like when the book is set and blah blah blah. But this is just we don't have any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could talk about legacy. I mean,
yeah, and we have some quotes too.
We got some quotes. I mean, you could just like go to our Instagram and we did like a little Meet Legacy thing there, but that's fine. That's fine. I just pulled up Legacy's website and I'll go to the tab that says Meet Legacy. Legacy Russell.
Yeah, go that shit.
Yeah, I got it. Legacy Russell is a curator, writer, and artiste. Born and raised in New York City, she is the associate curator of exhibitions at the Studio Museum in Harlem. She got her degrees and whatnot. She got her projects. So there's a slightly lengthy biography on legacyrussell.com/meet-legacy if you want to get the whole thing. Glitch Feminism is her first book. Her second book is called Black Meme, and it'll be published by the same company that published Glitch Feminism, but I don't know when that's coming out. Definitely want to read that, though. But if you're interested in finding more about... What am I saying? If you're interested in finding out more about Legacy... Jesus. Thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Just go to her website. Also, she uses the pronouns she and they. That's at the bottom of her website as well. So just throwing that in there, and then all of their social media is there: Instagram, Twitter. Oh, you can email Legacy. Should we email her?
No, we're drunk.
Oh, okay. We're not smart.
But also all the way down on the page, on the webpage or internet, what is it called?
On the website?
The interweb. The website. There's videos of her of like past lectures or speaking events. So they're pretty long, or not really. It's like an hour, but
that's pretty long.
If you want to learn more about what they think and how, probably the theory and from, what I'm saying. Anyways, go visit the website.
Again, that is legacyrussell.com/meetlegacy.
And email her and say, don't tell her about us because we're gonna fuck this up.
Yeah, please don't mention the website. We've already tagged her twice in our post, but don't say anything.
Yeah.
Okay, Rocio, let's talk about these terms and stuff. Let's start by saying that we only read up to chapter, like we got to the end of
5.
chapter. Did you read chapter 5? I don't remember what we said, what we wanted to do.
To 70 something. So like the end of chapter 5. Midway through end of chapter 5. It doesn't matter. There's no plot. So it's just, thoughts.
Interesting.
So it's fine.
Okay, well, yeah, you're going to have to, because I think I stopped at chapter 4 because I couldn't remember. And I was like, did we say through chapter 5 or stop at chapter 5?
It's okay. We can stop at chapter 4. It's fine.
Okay. So we're going to do up to chapter 4 today. And then this part 2 of the podcast will be everything else. Because the book is only... We said how many pages? There is 100.
It's like 100. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
it's just a lot, and like a lot of theory.
It's dense.
And like we said, our brains are not functioning.
Yeah, I mean, not that they would be functioning any other time, but if any of y'all have read something like Black Feminist Thought or The New Jim Crow, books like that, they don't have a plot, but they're like critical theory in some way. You know that it takes a very long time to get through a book like that, unless you're forced to do it for an academic purpose. But like if you're reading it just for GP, like it takes a minute because there's so many terms, there's so many definitions, there's a lot of big thoughts, so it takes a minute. So Rocio, what's a glitch? What the hell does that even mean?
A glitch is a term. It's 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 a term. chapter, page 7. Hold on. It's on page 7 for people reading along.
For our book club.
For a book club. But it's kind of like, I'll start with halfway, or not even, like the end of the first paragraph. What they mention here in that disruption with our collective congression at the trippy and tripped wire crossword of gender, race, and sexuality, one finds the power of the glitch. Maybe you should read before that, so it makes sense. But you do that on your own time. A glitch is an error, a mistake, a mistake, a failure to function. Ayo, same here. Within techno culture, wait, start over. Here we go.
And take 2.
A glitch is an error, a mistake, a failure to function. Within technoculture, a glitch is a part of machinic anxiety, an indicator of something having gone wrong. This built-in technological anxiety of something gone wrong spills over naturally when we encourage glitches in AFK, away from keyboard, scenarios. A car engine, calling it quits, getting stuck in an elevator, a citywide blackout. I think that's mostly it, right?
That's the definition they provide, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, she clearly defines it, okay? And I did highlight it, but I cannot tell you that I know what that means. But she does bring it up a lot in other chapters and stuff, so I guess it makes sense. But like, what were you gonna say, Rocio?
It's like the normal, not normal. The world or the technology is like this like white dominated heterosexual world, and the glitches are like people of color, queer individuals that make an error in what is the standard. So usually the standard is like heterosexual, but then queerness, actually there's a quote, hold on, where's the page 22.
I feel like I'm in class.
So actually this is gonna explain it better. Or no, let me keep talking. So like queerness is the error because it's like bringing this,
because it's separate from the norm that we've created for society.
It's like interrupting.
Right.
Yeah, it's interrupting the quote unquote norm that was created by like this this capitalist whatever. And then we're coming and interrupting it. And then by taking up space, we continue to interrupt. And we are the glitches itself. And then also, what page is this? 54? Because then they also talk about what glitch is, because glitch is able to like create and stop.
Okay, I got a little bit on page 10 and page 11. This is in the introduction for people who are looking at the book. On the bottom of page 10, Glitch Feminism asks us to look at the deeply flawed society we are currently implicated by and participating in. A society that relentlessly demands we make choices based on conceptual gender binary that limits us as individuals. So that's really, as you read this book, y'all, you really see that this term, glitch feminism, and the concept itself is really rooted in the body and gender and the binary and like breaking away from that. That's kind of what it all comes back to. She just puts it into different sections each chapter and different like philosophies and ways of thinking, but a lot of it has to do with the body and breaking out of what people expect bodies to do based on presentation and what you're assigned at birth and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then if you continue reading, were you gonna read that? Thus, the glitch creates. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Thus, the glitch creates a fissure, whatever that word is, within which new possibilities of being and becoming manifest. This failure to function within the confines of a society that fails us is a pointed and necessary refusal. Glitch feminism dissents, pushes back against capitalism. In conclusion, we're just starting.
No, literally, it is in conclusion. So that's what glitch is. That's what a glitch is, and that's what the concept of glitch feminism is, as well. Rocio said AFK a couple times, and she said away from keyboard. So away from keyboard is this term that Legacy coins in the book to mean. So what she's trying to do is draw a parallel between quote unquote like real life and quote unquote digital life. and to kind of bridge the gap between the two so that we can understand that, at least in her claim, the two should not be separate. That shouldn't be a binary either. That real life, or like the virtual world and digital life, mirrors real life because we in the real life created it. And so instead of saying virtual reality or digital life or virtual life, she says away from keyboard, AFK, to mean any scenario that is in the human form, and that we experience as humans. So if you hear us say AFK, away from keyboard, that's what she's talking about. That's the concept that she's created here.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about, what's this note you got here? Creation of different worlds and selves on page 11? Or did we? No,
Sure.
we just said that, didn't we?
Yeah, and I mean, I'll connect it to the other quote I was going to say about queerness. But on page 11, it talks about, like Willow was saying, you know, there's the world of like real life and then the away from keyboard. But then within the digital world, you are able to create different worlds, like multiple. So on 11, they start talking about that. Throughout the digital, we make new worlds and dare to modify our own. Through the digital, the body in glitch finds its genesis. Embracing the glitch is therefore a participatory action that challenges the status quo. And it creates a homeland for those traversing the complex channels of gender diaspora. You get it. But yeah, and then on page 22... Turning, yep. Paragraph 2.
Okay.
Queerness, and I think this is a quote by Jose Esteban Munoz, and it's from the book Cruising Utopia. Queerness is that thing that lets us feel that this world is not enough, that indeed something is missing. And this something missing is desire, a wanting of a better world, a rejection of here and now. Munoz observes, we have been cast out of straight time's rhythm, and we have made worlds in our own temporal and spatial configurations. Yeah. So just like talks about like this digital world as allowing for people to be themselves and create who they are without the societal influences. But I feel like things have changed now, and maybe things are different because this is referencing like the first creation, or when it was first starting with the AOL. Like you went in there, you chatted, you created this whole narrative of who you were, either really or just exploring different realities or different personas. But now that societal like thing that was not there is definitely there, because especially with social media, Instagram, Facebook, all the expectations in society and all the straight norms that invaded our real world, I feel like have trespassed into the digital world as well. So it's interesting to see that parallel now and how that has come into the digital world as well.
I think what I like the most about this book so far is that it really makes me, like, the whole time I was reading, I was only thinking about, or anytime she brought up a point, cheers.
If you have wine at home, drink.
Do
if you're at work.
Glass. Okay, we're gonna cheers against our microphones, and 1, 2, 3. Oh, almost.
If you're at work, drink but don't get caught. JK, don't drink.
No, don't do that.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
Hey, do what you want. I don't know where you work. I was gonna say for legal reasons. If you're at work, just think about what you're gonna drink. If you don't have a job, drink. If you don't drink water. Or
we are not encouraging
coffee.
alcohol consumption.
Whatever you're holding
drink
right
water.
now.
Just don't drink H2O2.
Okay. What I like most about this book so far is that it made me think a lot about who I made myself to be in the virtual stuff, not like social media accounts like Instagram and Facebook. I'm thinking more about like when I would make avatars and stuff and play these games in these fake worlds basically. And I was trying to think like how much of myself at the time when I was 9 or 10 or however old I was was actually a part of this and how much of it was who I thought I wanted to be at that time. And so a lot of this stuff about the body and the, because when you make an avatar, honestly, I think even when people make like Bitmojis and stuff, I'm always curious to see how closely linked it is to the person. What the Bitmoji's wearing, what the print it might.
What are you printing?
I'm not printing anything.
I imagine your dad printed something and it's a note. It's like, hey, quiet down. Just print it.
He can't say that. He's the one making all the noise. That is.
Oh my gosh, should we do that? Is there a way to link printers so far away and then I could just send you a message through the printer?
I don't know.
That's a fax, isn't it? That's
that would be a fax. That would be a fax. We know how to use technology. Now, what's crazy is that okay. Sorry for that interruption, everybody. You know what I don't know is that I printed a document that was 50 pages and it did a double-sided thing. And so I don't know if that was just printing out the last one or if that was something that my dad sent. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. Anyway, back to Bitmojis and whatnot. Sometimes people create avatars of themselves that look nothing like them. Or you look at them and you're like, why does your avatar have like pink hair and like a mohawk and a bunch of tattoos? And it's like a lot of people will create these digital characters based on who they wish they could be or how they wish they looked or whatever. So sorry. Or how they wish they looked. So I think that's in terms of like the body and like getting out of the confines of societal's expectations of the body is like, it's pretty cool.
I'm just thought about, and again, we haven't finished the whole book, so maybe it's discussed. We don't know half of the things that are being discussed in this book because we haven't read it anyways. How when, like you were saying, you create this new world, you create this new persona. For a lot of people, they're free to be who they really are. Why are you laughing?
Because my brain is starting again. I had to mute myself because it started going again. What's happening?
That's what she said. Anyways.
What's happening? Okay. Go ahead. I'm going to cut myself off again.
All right. Like I was saying, like that allows people to explore their outside the binary, explore the different spectrums, and explore who they are without that society pressure or the fear of being judged potentially in these like avatar or like digital worlds. But it also, again, I think they talked about not being welcomed in certain digital worlds. For other people on the other side of the spectrum are the people who can also explore who they are without repercussions because it's an anonymous world. And when I'm thinking about like people who are saying racist comments, who are saying homophobic comments, they are able to express themselves without no like quote unquote being canceled or whatever because it's an anonymous account or whatever. But they're able to also explore that. And we don't know all the dark web with, like there's all these like white supremacist groups where they're able to do that. So like we have this utopia world where we would love to have this utopia world where people are able to have all these places to grow their persona across the spectrum. But then that spectrum also includes the very racist and homophobic and like dark-ish side of the web and spectrum. So.
And what's interesting about the last part of what you said, like.
The pinner has something to say.
Yeah, clearly. I'm so sorry, everyone. This is a very noisy. It's like that day when you have the fan or the AC or whatever. It's just some things I can't control. I'm in the same room where the printer is, and I guess my dad needs to take care of some matters at this wee hour of the night. So, you know what though? What's crazy is that I didn't take my document off the printer, so I don't know if it's double-siding the document that I printed, and that's gonna fuck up everything. What is it? Why is it?
We'll get up and look at it.
I don't want to.
I'm curious.
Okay, I'm gonna get up.
Yeah. Do it for the readers. I mean the listeners. I mean both.
Okay, we are back. Jesus Christ. This is definitely a big wine glass kind of night. Okay. Anyway, what I was gonna say.
You're gonna have a lot of fun.
This is gonna be
You're
terrible.
Gonna have a
to
lot
edit.
of fun.
I'm gonna hate this.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun for you. You're welcome.
This is gonna be a perfect time for us to put the break right in the middle. So much time in the middle.
That's what. No.
Okay, so after all of that, the print is still going. So why don't we just take a break?
And we're back. Oh, we're not back because it's still going, huh?
We're not back. Okay, I think we're back. Let's just finish up before this printer starts again. I swear to God. Okay, what I was going to say was that when you said, when you were talking about the people who say racist things and homophobic things over the internet, what fascinates me about those kinds of people is that they often have no picture. There's no avatar. Mm-hmm. There's no real way to trace them. There's no real name. It's just like a fake thing. That's all. Now, let me do a quick summary of the 4 chapters, and then we're going to go to our favorite parts, and then we're going to get out of your hair.
All right, Willow, how fast can you do this?
Okay, time me. Go. Chapter 1, Glitch refuses. What it means to reject systems like patriarchy, racism, capitalism, and how the digital world reflects the world that created it. Chapter 2, Glitch is cosmic. How the body as an idea can take on many forms, live across worlds like the real and digital world. Chapter 3, Glitch throws shade. All about performing/presenting gender. Chapter 4, Glitch Ghost. All about the idea of ghosting, but not in a relationship. The idea of ghosting the body and the idea of the binary through a 3-step process outlined on page 64. How long was that?
29 seconds. And that's the only time you should be proud of finishing. Take that out. 29 seconds.
Oh, that's so funny.
It took you, Willow, how long did it take you? It took you 29 seconds.
Did you actually time it?
Yeah, it was the little...
Or you looked at the counter. That's cool. We do have a timer here.
Yeah,
that's
it's like,
cool.
Yeah. No, I was looking at my time. What's it called? The time here on the computer. Oh. It has the seconds.
Oh, you're cool like that. Rosia, what were your favorite parts of this book? Tell me.
Well, I kind of read a lot of the quotes I liked. Got ahead of myself. What can I say? Well, like I think I mentioned earlier, I really liked what my favorite part of the book so far was the Nope. I guess it was the first chapter of the Nope essay or manifesto. Mm-hmm. Was it that one also where it's like I contradict myself, or is that a different chapter?
Yeah, that's that one. Towards the middle of it, I think.
Okay, I like that one too because it was more about like, like the idea of being. I guess that goes against being a hypocrite because there's so much thing where like if you say something and then you say something else, you are like held to, I don't know, like you. In this world, you can have 2 different bodies or thoughts and coexist or contradict itself. It's like you said one thing and that's what you should be for the rest of your life, or else you're a hypocrite. But it doesn't allow us to be minds or bodies that have changing ideas and can think 2 things at the same time. So I like that part. Being able to contradict yourself and be okay with that, or, And I liked the idea of this digital world being the utopia that it's not naive, but it's actually what is like a survival technique and what we should actually be striving for. Because it's not naive to say everybody should have basic rights and not be treated like shit. Like, that's not naive. It's like, no, we should have that. It's not utopia. It's like what should be. Because and I guess that goes to say that we're living in a dystopia world in a way. What's another part? Yeah, so I think, actually I went through my little bullet points. Ayo. Yeah, so I think that's so far my favorite parts of the book. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, my little bullet points. Yeah. I'm excited to finish the book and see what else is talked about feel like I'm learning a lot. Well, not I am learning, but also like this information existed, and now it's actually digesting it and like thinking about it in a different way. Willow, what do you think?
My first one is on page 8 when she kind of introduces this idea that when you perform against what people would think your body can do, that's a glitch. And so when you don't perform gender, and when you, well, she's saying that like when you gender the body, that is, how you say bad, a no. And when you perform against that, that's the glitch. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. She has some very fascinating thoughts about gender in this book that I hadn't thought about it in those ways before. The next one, what did I put down? 32? Oh, 32. This is in chapter, I don't know. She introduces the idea of cyber feminism, which I haven't ever heard of before. So that sent me off on a tangent, and I was Googling, and got distracted. But that was pretty cool to bring that up and tie it into what she's talking about. And then chapter 3, I think all of it. Which one is that? Glitch throws shade. Yeah. That was all about, that was really heavy on like the binary and performing gender, presenting, like that was, I like that. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm excited to finish the book. It is dense. It is kind of, I wouldn't say tough to get through. It's just a lot of things to deal with. It's not really like any sort of fiction book that we read. You know, like even like History's All You Left Me, or like The Alchemist. Like you can go through a couple of chapters and put the book down. But with this, like, I don't know, one chapter is already a lot.
Yeah, in a good way. You know what I was thinking, and this doesn't have to go in the podcast, but you know how like the whole era of civilization came about and all these theories came about? I don't know. But do you think that we kind of so can you think of like, I'm just thinking, I wonder if all these things already, like these thoughts of like not having a binary, not having all these things, this utopia world that is being discussed about in the digital world, existed before civilization came about and westernization came about. And I'm pretty sure it did. Like there's like contacts or like artifacts that indicate that gender was more fluid before civilization. So we kind of went through this, not bell curve, but like full circle, where these things already existed. Then civilization came around and like created binaries and these like strict rules about how humans should act to be civil. And now we're going back to those like pre-civilization, not saying that they're not civil, but like the whole thought about, or the little era theme thing. We're going to these thoughts now, but now they're academically discussed of like, no, the binary shouldn't exist. It should not be. So we're kind of like going back to how we should have been as a normal. And the glitch was the civilization part of it. Like we should never have been put in that binary. And now we're going back to the normal of the binary should have never existed.
And being uncivilized?
I mean, I wouldn't say uncivilized, but just like...
Well, civilized in the respect of like civilization.
Industrialization and all that.
So what's interesting about that is that if you are someone that believes in Christianity or some sort of like major religion, but like the story of Adam and Eve is so-called the beginning of time, and so that is man and woman, and there's all these things that are outlined for men and women, like the gender roles. And to me, for those people that believe in that and that read the Bible and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of a basis for gender roles, what the man should be doing, what the woman should be doing, the idea of man and woman at all, and the whole idea of like the rib out of the man and making the woman, like all that kind of stuff. But then I think like prehistoric times, like were there gender roles back then? Were there roles, or did they all just do stuff? I feel like they all just had to stay alive is what the main thing was. So let's just all figure it out. Yeah. Doesn't matter that your body looks different from mine. We all can do the same thing. So, you know, and then you look at like science. If you look at biology, they will show you all these studies that say that men's bodies are stronger than women's bodies, but then that's still the idea of man and woman. So I don't know, this idea of binary is fascinating, especially because it doesn't just exist within gender. Binaries exist everywhere, you know, this or that. black or white. Like people, and I think we're getting into a time where people are trying to break out of the fact that we view too many things in a binary way. Like it's just, straight on. It's either this thing or this thing, not in the middle, not outside those two things. And I think we're moving into a culture that is trying to perpetuate the idea that more things are on spectrums than this or this.
Well, even if you think about like how we got to the binary, like it was very much war driven or like forcefully put. And whenever there was a society that existed without those binaries or with different ideologies, it was very much like, we're going to colonize you, we're going to civilize you. Like that's the colonization thing. Like we're trying to fix you and save you. What was that one term? I don't know. But I mean, if that didn't exist, or like the whole war thing didn't happen, I feel like they wouldn't have been successful at actually breaking that spectrum and creating a binary, because it was very much just like weaponized. Anyways,
well, to your point about getting back to how things used to be, I'm a fan because I think gender roles are a bunch of BS. So I like it. I'm looking forward to part 2. Part 2, y'all, we'll do more of segment 3, the book report. So we'll do the reviews. We'll talk about the latter half, the second half of the chapter, and we'll do our reviews. We'll do the reviews from really wherever we can find them. I don't know that we're going to be able to find stuff on Barnes & Noble and everything, but wherever we find reviews, we'll put them here, and then Rocio and I will do our reviews, and we will wrap it on up.
Yeah. So,
everybody, my dad just came down to get his papers printed, and Dad, there's a little bit of a jam here while we were recording, but everything should have printed. I hope everything is to your liking.
I was gonna say that.
Huh? No, that's yours. Okay, love you.
He's like, I hate you. Okay, also, if you are hearing this, since this is a different kind of episode, it's only part 1 of this book, we don't have a book that we're going to read next. So if you have any suggestions, let us know. Maybe the next book is a listener picked or suggested book. So hit us up.
And if it is, and if you want to be on the podcast, like that would be a perfect time for you to be on an episode. Yeah. I have 2 people already who have asked me to be on an episode, Rocio, and it may just be us talking, like just not even about books, but that we'll talk about that. They're like, can I be on the podcast? You guys are funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first time that we don't have a book yet, selected before we even finish the first one that we're reading. So yeah, we'll post this episode, and then like we'll ask for comments in the next week for like what you think we should pick next. And then we'd love for y'all to keep whoever is reading with us or like gets the books that we read. Thank you. Keep doing it.
You're doing a better job than we are.
But like you sure are. You're probably finishing them before we are, but that's whatever. But yeah, comment and let us know if there's a book that a short one, please. Maybe like 100 pages or something. Something that we will be able to finish before September, like because we do want to stay on track with our posting schedule on the 5th of every month. So if there's something that you think we can read that's maybe a little bit more lighthearted, how do you say not critical theory? How do you say
for us to not use our brains?
Maybe it has pictures. I don't know. Maybe it's a coloring book.
Captain Underpants. We've discussed that possibility.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I don't know. You tell us. So yeah, leave us. You can DM us on Instagram at We Read Bookcast.
Slide in our DMs.
Find us on Facebook at That's What We Read Bookcast. You can email us at wereadbookpod@gmail.com. So if you have any suggestions, any questions, you love us, whatever you want to say, email us. If you tell us that you hate us, it's going to go right to the trash. So
it's okay. I can take it. I'll just cry and drink wine.
Well, I can't, so it'll go to the trash. And all right, that's it, everybody. Bye.
Bye, bitch.